Hello everybody, it's Friday night and it is time for the Weekender once again. And on this week's show we talk about upcoming things for 2025 that will tickle your fancy, be it fantasy from Conquest, Infinity from Corvus Belli, or historics from Battlefront. On top of that, we also take a look at our last indie of the week for this year, and it's a little gem, if I do say so myself. And I do. Now sit back, relax, because your weekend starts here. Hello, everybody, and Merry Christmas. Look at what I have to work with.
Yeah.
What? You said Christmassy.
I've
What's
said
more
nothing.
Christmassy than turkey?
That's what Christmas is all about.
The traditional Grinch t-shirt comes out again.
And if you will, ho, ho, holy shit. But
I
we're
put
here.
my balls out for you.
You did.
Jesus.
Yeah, technically I'm the
amazingly
wingman
red
today.
and shiny they are.
Mm.
I would say nothing. Look at them. You couldn't even get two in one cupped hand. They're enormous.
Christmas
Grandfather's
cheer.
hammer. I should have had
pendulous
my tiny
Christmas
little,
balls.
My tiny dog, which nobody recognized, but it was from last year.
Oh.
I should have done it for this year. See if anybody worked out for this year. It won't. It's obscure. It's not that obscure actually, but you know, people can go back and look at last year's and try and work out what I'm talking about. I had a Christmas decoration. That's all you get to hear. Anyway,
Good luck to anyone trying to get back that far.
it's really simple. You just type in Weekender. Bush. Right. This is our last of 2024.
It is. Yeah.
We're going to have some time off.
We are.
Yes.
Several weeks.
God, I'm so tired.
You haven't even had to paint a Path of Conquest army. But we'll be back in January with more fun and games anyway. So we thought we'd finish out the year as we started it by annoying your happiness for a couple of hours.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
I thought so. It's best to try and ignore the whole Christmas thing. It'll all be over soon. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. We'll all be fine. We are still going to be putting a few things out over the Christmas period, though. So if you get lonely, you can come on over and see us. We have a Ask Me Anything styly little video that'll be going out post New Year's.
Yeah, start of the year.
Yeah. So if you want to see what random questions the random people in our community asked, by Christ, they're random, then yes, you can join us for that. If anybody's ever wondered what's on our shelves, you get a blow-by-blow account.
Yeah, I will say it's almost 4 hours long.
That's fine.
Perfect for the new year.
I only did one set of shelves, to be brutally honest.
No, you did. You did. Thank you very much, Jerry.
Yeah.
Saved my sanity ever so slightly.
Next year I'll do that set of shelves, and the year after I'll do the one over there.
And then the loft.
Oh, the attic.
Loft is never being done. It's never happening. What else do we have going out over Crimble-tide?
We have the community awards going out as
I
well.
almost forgot about the community awards. Yes, where we get to judge you.
Yes.
And we do all the time.
I'm
It
just
could
wondering
be
how many
you.
people are judging me with this at the minute.
So, yes, the community awards will be going out the end of 2024. So you'll get to see
Christmas week.
You'll get to see what we think of the people who have been doing stuff in our community, and also who our new Grandmaster will be.
Yes.
Oh.
We've had some cracking Grandmasters. All of
This
them.
one's a corker.
All of them have been very, very pleased to be nominated as Grandmaster, despite the fact we don't tell them we're going to do it. But then they go, oh yeah, that's great. With the exception possibly of Sean Connery. I don't know if he ever actually admitted to liking being a Grandmaster or not.
Should we send a letter to his estate and see what they say? Or will we get a cease and
on the
desist?
owlbear in a Zardos costume, the best Grandmaster outfit.
One of his finest moments.
Oh, maybe for next year we'll all dress up like our first Grandmaster in the Zardos costumes.
I mean, I've got the chest hair for it.
We can do it for UKG. Just do the
Oh
entire
my God.
live stream.
And we were never invited back.
Knee-high riding boots.
I mean, the problem is Dave from Mini Wargaming will probably turn up and go, "Have you got one for me?"
Yeah.
It's all right. It's fine.
More the merrier.
He can share yours.
I am not sharing a sweaty banana hammock.
Out. No. Anyway, right. Yes, so there will be stuff over Christmas, just not the usual weekender until we hit January.
Mhm.
So you can all relax, spend time with your loved ones. And by that, of course, I mean your tiny fighting men.
Exactly. Yeah.
The most beloved thing in my house. Right, time to get on with the show before this goes on any longer. And we're going to kick things off with our last Indie of the Week.
Oh my God, yeah.
For 2024.
Who is the ultimate Indie of the Week for 2024?
Well, you'll find that out in the industry awards.
But
Ah,
they won't be here till January
Yeah.
or February or March or
depends when Lloyd gets time.
June.
Poor man.
We'll get them done. But our final Indie of the Week for this year is the delightful Gorgon Studios. They don't look like they've updated in a while.
Don't look at the screen. You'll turn to stone.
But I did check to make sure they're still active. And so I will preface this with one of the names behind it is heavily connected with Adepticon, which takes up a lot of their time these days.
I see.
They still ship. They ship once a week. So do not expect an immediate turnaround.
Right.
They're also based in America anyway. So for people ordering from outside of there, you're not going to get an immediate turnaround anyway. But just be aware there'll be a slight delay before things get posted. However,
don't worry that it says 2017
yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
You'll function, Yuga.
Which is why I reached out to them.
Good
first.
idea.
So, because they've got some really nice stuff. Really nice for a whole slew of things. And I felt like they deserve to be thrown at people. Now, I did get a message back going, there's a ton more stuff. I really should get back to it. We've got a load of stuff that's never been released.
Oh, wow.
And you're going, so maybe when time permits throughout 2025, you might see some new bits and pieces coming in here.
Ooh.
But I thought I'd start off with the Old West because I was watching Westerns last night.
Pow pow.
So I watched 310
to Yuma.
Yeah.
The original or the...
No, I've seen the original before. This is the first time I've seen the remake.
The remake's good. I enjoyed it.
I didn't like it, to be honest, but that's just me.
How did you not like it? It was great. I particularly liked the bit where everybody died.
Jerry's favourite thing, death.
By the way. But this is quite nice because people may be aware we like our Wildy West.
We do.
And we also like our Wildy Westy films. And the Marshal, the Texas Ranger, the Hired Hand, and the farmer's or the cattleman's daughter all come screaming straight out of a certain Coen Brothers remake.
Yes.
So if you've ever wanted to have Jeff Bridges as Rooster Cogburn,
why would you
then
not?
you can fill your hands. You son
Oh, man.
Very nice when he's painted.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Single
they
piece?
also do mounted versions.
Yeah, single piece mini from the look of it.
Yeah. A lot of them are where sculpting permits. They're single piece metals.
Do I know the weird thing? I know what board he's sitting on. It's the old workshop one.
It is an old workshop one because you can tell by the cracks in the earth underneath.
Where the skull layer comes in.
I'm sure they probably green stuffed over that.
Skull layer crust.
Earth.
But yeah. Also get him mounted, which is very handy for games like Dead Man's Hand or Legends of the Old West, where you can mount and dismount. I suppose even do it Knuckle Duster's Ball as well.
Good horse sculpt as well. Sometimes horses can be a bit weird, but that one's a good sculpt. Yeah.
Like him. You can just see him now riding hell for leather, pell-mell across the field, screaming at people. Farmer's Daughter's there as well. She was a terrific actress.
She was. Yeah. Well, is.
I haven't seen her in anything else since. But I don't know if that's just because she's probably now in her mid-20s and I just don't recognize her. But regardless, I mean, no idea what I would use her for in a game, possibly an objective rather than an actual gang member, I suppose.
Maybe do it as an escort.
Yeah, where you've got to bring your Texas Ranger and your Marshal with you.
Mm-hmm.
And the Texas Ranger, obviously, is the Martian.
She's been in
Jason Bourne himself.
She was in Hawkeye as well.
Yeah.
That's her.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, now you say that. Yes, that is her. She was great in that. It was a Christmas TV show as well.
It was as well. So thematic. Haley Steinfeld.
Look at that. Look at Jason Bourne being all Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
Impressive sculpts.
Who am I? Where am I from?
Yeah. If you're a bit more old school, then there is the 7, which again,
classic 7 as well.
Great for Dead Man's Hand because they have them. They have the 7 and the new 7.
They do.
And a dead 7 if you fancy weirdness in your Old West. So you can have Yul Brynner and friends and not have to worry about polishing Yul Brynner's hair.
A zombie Western could be fun.
Yeah.
Are there any zombie Western movies?
Almost undoubtedly so. I believe Glenn Danzig has done some vampire ones, so probably zombie ones as well. I will say, if you get the opportunity to watch Glenn Danzig's vampire Western, don't. Really don't.
Is it as bad as Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
Worse. Much worse.
What was the one with Danny Trejo where he comes back from the dead to kill all his mates?
Machete Kills? Is that it?
No, it was a Western with him.
Oh, okay.
So he was playing an outlaw, got murdered by his gang, and came back from hell to kill them all.
Oh, wow.
It was terrible.
Danny Trejo runs a taco restaurant now, and it's really good, apparently. There you go. That's some...
the more you know.
Yeah.
Leaving the Old West, but sticking with things that I can use in Great Escape games.
I was going to say Chicago Way.
Chicago Way. Yeah. Really nice set of cops.
Yeah, one fellow with the typewriter.
Yes, very good.
And those are really nice.
Do they come with the bases, or are those?
No, those are separate.
Oh, okay.
They are nice.
Distinct.
They are nice bases, yeah. Gangsters.
Your gangsters.
Oh, man. The guy with the Tommy guns. Super cool. I love him.
One guy with a BAR. Where'd you get that, son?
War surplus stock, probably.
Yeah. Falling off the back of a US Army lorry.
Yeah. They're very good.
Falling off.
He's borderline Dick Tracy with that zoot suit on him there.
Paint him in yellow and away you go.
Yeah.
That was the interesting thing. During the war, the government actually brought the mob on to actually defend the harbour.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah,
Peggy Carter.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Peggy's great.
Yes. That's nice. Also very good for anything Cthulhu-y as well.
Yeah.
Gangstery. So
1920s investigators investigating with a gun in one hand.
Mm-hmm.
And the pencil in the other hand so they can poke their own eyes out before they have to read anything. Because that's very important in life, I feel. So those are your Wild West and your
those
your
are really
types.
Nice. Really nice.
Me likey.
World War II is
burgeoning,
slightly larger.
Yeah.
Some of them you'll find bits and pieces in, other ones less so.
Oh, come on!
British sniper teams are my particular favourite, but
Pow, pow.
I'll open the SBS. The people who do all the jobs while the SAS get all the plaudits.
Is it Special Boat Service?
It is the Special Boat Service, yes.
Yeah.
Not by strength, but by guile was their motto. And then somebody decided to change that. And I don't like the fact that they changed it. Anyway.
What did they change it to?
An apple a day.
By strength and guile or something crap like that. And you're just going, you were better before.
So they were very much the morgue to the SAS's Gork, if you were to use or the other way around. Whichever one's cunning, whichever one's
brutally cunning.
Yeah. Oh man, this is great. I've started watching Rogue Heroes in preparation for the second series, and I am all for these. They're so good.
Yes. Look at the facial hair in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a Kurt Russell tash there.
A proper soup strainer.
I mean, if I take this off, I would probably have that tash right now.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, you should do that then.
No, I don't want to look like an 80s corn star.
I think you should, Justin.
No, thank you.
We snipers as well. Really handy.
That's very lovely.
Little set.
Obviously great for Fight for Victory.
Mm-hmm. Some sneaking around and then set up as well, which is a nice way of doing it. So, yeah, very good. I like it.
Have a look at some Fallschirmjäger.
Fallschirmjäger.
They will
I
Jäger
don't know
Gefällt.
how many of these. I know Mike Owens sculpted a fair amount of these. I don't know if they're all, because the original setup for Gorgon was a group of like-minded people from within the industry sort of getting together. So
sculpting the things that they wanted to sculpt, kind of stuff. Yeah.
I do like they've kept the same format for the snipers between the two factions so far.
That is good. Yeah. I really like the proportions and stuff of these guys as well. They're really nicely done.
There is, if people go on the internet, and if you bing Gorgon Studios comparison, somebody's put up a set of the Vikings with Gripping Beast and Footsore and something else, which means you've got a really good idea of size comparison between those.
They fit in nicely.
They fit in between the two. So Footsore tend to be finer. Well, certainly the Bill Thornhill sculpts, the older Footsore stuff, are very fine. And then Gripping Beasts tend to be chunky.
Bit bulkier, yeah.
These are a really nice halfway house, so they'll blend with either. Or,
they feel like they'd actually work quite nicely with the Blitzkrieg range.
Yes.
In terms of their size proportions. And obviously they do lots of nice single metals and things and a few resin bits and pieces, so they'd be a good match. But yeah, very nice.
MG34s.
I really like these. This is a company I've never ever heard of as well, so this is really cool. Yeah.
I find them because of those cops.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm starting the Chicago way. But Tony at the club really likes the Chicago way.
Right.
And I was thinking, I could probably do something. And then it was like, ooh, they do cops. And then I went, ooh, they do Peggy Carter. I was like, oh my God, what else do they do?
I'm curious about the Partisans.
They're little peoples. Not big people.
Very nice. Polish stuff as well.
Yeah.
Don't get to see enough of that.
No.
Especially since Cromlech stopped doing their historical bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Well, or as much of the historical stuff anyway. So this is also quite good considering something we're going to talk about later in the show as well, obviously in a different scale. But maybe it will be a little nudge for the rest of the wargaming industry to start exploring early war perhaps as well.
Yes.
So that'd be really nice.
I think so.
Lovely stuff. Really like that.
They're great. I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't combine them with some of Jamie Trantler's.
Oh, yeah, very true.
Versus Warsaw Rising. Obviously, they were more guerrilla affair, but I think there were still some soldiers who had escaped, presumably using bits and pieces of their
people keeping
outfits.
Their kit. Yeah. Hid it away in a barn somewhere, only to be taken out at the end of all things.
Or if you just want to play, like I say, the early war stuff, you want to play your bold action, do your 30 at 39.
I like that the sculpting on these is very well defined as well. So it's one of those ones where when you get into it, you're going to very easily be able to do the whole block color thing, Kev Dannemore style painting on these to really make them pop quite quickly. Using the sort of classic techniques. So
that's interesting.
Great.
So if you want to use your Fallschirmjäger on the island of Crete, for example, and do some partisan fighting, I think these would match in very well, not only with Wargames Atlantic's partisans, so you could add some metals in with your plastics, but adding these in to some of the gangsters. So you've got your suited and booted gangster types, and then here's your hired hands, skivvies off ships.
Your more Goonie boys.
Again, rocking some amazing facial hair, which is what we're all here for.
There's your partisans, your Greek ones, lovely.
Dance
Get out of my island.
Dance.
Love it. Really nice. Big pants as well.
Yes, big pants is the way to go. Obviously, there's a few more bits and pieces in the old World War II, but we're going to ignore them and go into the Norskins. Because everybody likes Norskins.
Vikinger.
Including, if you fancy doing Age of Magic, there's a whole host of Draugr. So.
Oh, very nice.
If you're planning on playing a touch of Saga Age of Magic, you can do it. Coming at you.
Fun Dad.
Out of a barn. What was a really good Draugr based fantasy thing. Is it The Huntress? I think there's a film called The Huntress, I want to say. If it's not, the correct name will be in the doobly-doo below, because I will find it. But it's all about Draugr attacking this small family in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, cool.
Because somebody robbed a barrow, I think. It's like, ooh.
Never step into the barrow.
Yeah.
Makes me want to go back and play some more Skyrim.
Yeah, they are very Skyrim-y. Yeah. Especially with where they've painted them with the blue eyes as well.
Well, what other colour would Draugr have?
Red? Sneaky red?
No, that doesn't make sense. You make no sense.
Cold blue? Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Yeah.
We also have
Ragnar and Rollo.
And Lagatha.
There's a Lagatha as well. That's nice.
Yes.
Very nice. I've actually been rewatching the Vikings TV show recently.
It's good. I love it.
I finally got up to where I dropped off last time, which was right after Paris. Whenever Rollo actually became a French nobleman.
Yeah. You've got quite a lot to go then.
Oh, yeah. Again, it was one of those things. I always sort of like burn out around that time because things start to get a bit wibbly.
Yeah. You've got Ragnarok to watch as well. No, Valhalla to watch as well. That's
okay.
One of these is a Marvel Thor thing, and the other one is not.
Yes, yeah. One of them is a terrible film. No, Ragnarok is good. Love and Thunder is the awful one.
Yes.
I mean, it got, the very first Thor was just too silly.
Good old Planner of Battles. Go on, Odin. I'll call you Mr. Wednesday.
Yeah. Shame that series got killed. Boo.
Yeah.
Again, it was really confusing.
I loved it. It was so.
I loved it, but I was confused while I loved it.
That's Neil Gaiman.
Didn't seem confusing to me. The old gods were being taken over by the new gods, and Odin was rallying the troops to fight them. It's just a simple power grab.
And then that dude from Hollyoaks got stuck in a tree.
Yes, he did. It's how the game is played. There are some
ancient stuff.
So you want to do Claudius.
Claudius.
Oh, where is Maximus? Have you seen Gladiator 2 yet, Ben?
I haven't, no, because my cinema's weird. But I do want to go and see it. So it's on my list alongside Paddington, Peru edition.
To me, kind of a letdown because they were more focused on, let's make it all actiony and let's go really wibbly and make there be like sea battles in the arena.
They did used to do that.
There were sea battles in the
really?
arena.
Yeah, they flooded the arena, so they could have sea battles, yeah.
Okay, learn something new every day.
Fashion?
That seems, yeah.
They used to have big, I mean, there wouldn't have been triremes, but triremes in the arena and stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
scaled versions that they could donut around the place in.
That's mad.
What have the Romans ever done for us? Crazy weird shit.
Yes. And then obviously if you want Spartans.
Those are nice Spartans.
Aren't they though?
Oh.
What is your profession?
Just shouting "hua" doesn't help. What is your profession?
Imagine being a census taker in Sparta. What is your profession?
Just
I have to write it down. I don't know how to spell it.
This is a really nice touch, which you don't often see. Certainly the Spartan pipe. I don't know if all the Greek pipes were like that. Can you see this line here under their nose?
Right.
Essentially, the pipes were strapped and tied around their head. They couldn't lift them up and down. So to give a better seal for when they were playing them.
Oh, wow.
But I really like the commanders there. Look at the lovely hair on them.
He is L'Oreal perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. He is worth it.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
If you're about to die, you need to look your best.
Yeah. Come back on your shield, but looking fabulous. Yeah. So.
The Persians apparently were quite confused at Thermopylae when the night before they finally killed up the Spartans. The Spartans spent the evening braiding their hair and cleaning and combing and all the rest, because they didn't understand that was part of the sort of funeral rites.
Wow.
They're looking at them going, these guys are just sitting there combing each other's hair, looking pretty. The whole idea is to make yourself more beautiful, more perfect.
Presentable when you cross the river Styx. Yeah.
Because you are essentially a sacrifice yourself. Yes. So
could Spartans be any cooler?
What the Persians should have realized was they were in for a monumental ass kicking from that. So yes.
I mean, how confident do you have to be about the fight whenever you're just saying, you know what, I'm gonna die anyway, I'm gonna look good doing it.
Yeah.
You know, that's when you need to be scared.
Very true.
That was full on Suicide Squad at that point.
Oh man, I love that. There's something so cool about Greeks and massive phalanx of troops with big shields and those really kick-ass helmets. Oh my god.
Everybody likes a nice Corinth helm.
Yeah.
These helms are fairly early. This style went out of favor. The full-face Corinth helm, the one he's got perched up on top of his head like that. So it's a more, that would have been appropriate for Thermopylae.
Right. Yeah.
And then later Spartans sort of removed that. Although you'd still see him dinkling around in other places because hand-me-downs type of thing. But essentially the Spartans ended up with something that was not dissimilar to... Are there any about in there? No. There's like a little felt hat. Essentially, they end up doing a bronze version of the little felt hat. It was just like a little... Like, think of a Norman helm with the nose cover off, sort of just
like a little pot helm type thing.
Yeah. But anyway,
they all have really nice beards.
They do.
Although, interestingly, there was an experiment done to figure out why they all had beards. If you have a beard, you actually have less chance of breaking bone if you're hit.
Right. Well, the reason they have beards is they were told to.
Oh,
it was part of like Kyrgyzstan commands.
But it makes me justified in the fact that I've got a beard. So
you are at lower chance of taking injury if you are punched in the face. Don't punch Ben in the face, folks. It's not nice.
But yeah, that is the...
I've pulled off. I'll pull this back on.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Only one little image for the Etruscans. You too can see some Etruscans donutting around the place. But yeah, so that is Gorgon.
What a nice little selection of stuff.
Yeah, lovely.
That's really cool. Yeah.
They are absolutely cracking. And like I say, worth checking out. You may just have a slight delay on when they arrive with you because they don't do their posting.
Well, who knows? Now that we've featured them, maybe they'll get around to getting some more new stuff out.
Well, I think it comes down to what time they have with that. And as he said, Adepticon takes up a lot of his time. And I imagine Adepticon probably takes preference.
More than likely.
It's not exactly a small show.
No. Funnily enough, one of the team here has never made it to, I know we've had our American friends over at it the odd time, but we ourselves have never made it there.
I'd love to do Adepticon. That'd be really nice.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Of course, I'd have to get my passport back up to date.
Shocking. Right. Enough of the indie. Time to take a look at some news.
Coming to you from the center of Northwestern Europe. Covering board games, war games, card games, and all that you love. It's the news.
All right, then. We're going to be kicking things off in the news with some fantasy.
Yay.
Pre-orders are up for a whole host of new 100 Kingdom stuff for Parabellum's Conquest.
Blimey, this looks good.
And yeah, it looks superbe, as they would say in France.
C'est magnifique.
It is not just a new slant on the 100 Kingdoms, it's also in some cases a bit of a range refresh. So most of these are out late January 2025, although one of them appears on the website as both being pre-order and being out at the same time. It is the Schrodinger's cat of Knights Errant. I wonder if this is a little hint towards the fact that the Knight Errant are not supposed to be there anymore. Anyway, we're going to kick things off with a absolute beast of a noble lord. This huge Crusader noble lord.
Such a cool pose.
He's
very much I will have you.
He's smashing. He looks not dissimilar to the Mountain in the Dark Sword miniatures range. He has that sort of bulk to him. Now, for nearly all of these, we don't know how they play. Because all they have at the moment is the pre-orders are up. Obviously, noble lords have their own little bits and pieces that they come with. The fact this is very Crusader and religious heavy unleashing upon the tabletop means we may see more specific knightly order type things being tied to them. I'm not sure. He's going to be a resin miniature, and the resins are always superb. He looks absolutely brutal deluxe.
Yeah.
This is the fellow who may or may not be out. Discuss.
He has previously been released because he came out when the first Order of Knights stuff came out.
Right.
And then they're re-releasing him.
Okay.
With this set. So
if you order the pre-order version, you may have to wait. If you order the one that says it's already released, it's already out. The Order of the Shield are fun. It's one of my favorite orders in their actual backstory. Essentially, they are the people who would stand between nobility and peasantry. They would champion the peasants' causes, which meant at one point the emperor was very annoyed and tried to actually exterminate them all. So unlike the other knightly orders, they don't really have a preceptory and a focal point because they're not supposed to exist anymore. So they're kind of a roving band of knights undercover. But these guys, they therefore have the ability to lead things like the militia. So your lightly armored, your peasanty type troops, these guys can come in there as heroes for them and be a bit of a buff to those units. Obviously, he also looks like he's just stepped out of Green Arrow.
Some of the design details are amazing on this. That blind judgment style hammer is lovely.
Yep. It's also replicated on his badge there. But that's the reason they often get smashed.
A great opportunity to build like a themed First Blood warband. Have it with one of these guys, the errants, with like a bunch of the sort of regular foot soldiers, foot sloggers that he's kind of protecting and stuff. That could be really cool. Yeah.
Load of the bowmen. Go full Robin Hood.
Yeah.
These are fun. The Sakai. So these are religious zealots. As you may be able to tell from the massive swords, they do have cleave, which means they're quite good at cutting through things, but they're also fanatics. So they've got a couple of nice bonuses, like if a priest is casting a spell on them, they can reroll one failure. So you're more likely to get the buffs off on them because they are so religiously fanatical. I also like the look of them with their veils held on by
very
a
sinister
circlet. Well,
I was reading the lore about them. So they're orphans that were raised by the Church of Theists, I think it's called.
Yes.
Isn't it? And by some quirk, they are not allowed to be armed, but they are allowed to carry a blade to protect themselves on the road. And so they went, a blade, eh? And just gave them a massive one. So.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
At what length does a knife become a sword?
Well, they wouldn't get through airport security. That's so
you wouldn't anyway.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, interesting set of models, and we've said this before with the fact that they're toning down the dual kits and going for more specifics to bulk out the armies with individual units means they can do really nice kits like this. I say that, but we'll come back to that in a minute. But some of the detail on them is particularly nice.
Smashing.
I'd be fascinated to see people doing weird and wacky paint jobs with these.
Imagine if you did sort of like a translucent look for the veils.
But
so it's like a lighter red, so you could see the face or something underneath it.
Yeah, so what, do it
be red?
More of like a little pinky below it, and then...
Yeah. That'd be nice.
I mean, I have seen there are some sculptors out there, or some painters out there who can actually paint properly translucent. I think there was one, Cersei Lannister, years ago I saw. They actually painted the gown translucent so you could see through and see the legs below.
Yeah.
That was...
It's a Dark Sword one as well, I think. Probably.
It's actually fairly easy to do. You just paint your robe first in generally white,
over the top,
and then you paint skin tone as your final, where your highlights would normally be. As if it's coming through because it's closer to the skin. This,
blimey, Charlie,
absolute beast. Now, I'm not saying people should be taking a long, hard look at the 100 Kingdoms and going, "Are you sure you're completely separate from the Old Dominion? Are you?" Because it has that sort of idea. But this is the Archangel, which has been manifested. I think is probably the best way from consecrated grounds or ruins of churches,
cathedral.
chapels of this by the faithful themselves. So an archangel inhabits the body that's constructed from the bits of the church, which is very Old Dominion, if you ask me. But there's a couple of ways you can field it. One is more defensive, like your typical anvil. So good for holding objectives and that sort of thing. Or you can go absolutely ham and make it a monster killer and just send it out there to start hunting down big beasties. And let's face it, there are plenty of those in here, there, and everywhere are terrible archangels.
I know that it's a more decorative weapon, but I love that it's carrying a sword breaker, and then it makes you think, why is it carrying a sword breaker weapon? What has something big enough that needs to be broken by that? But yeah,
an abomination. You could break its arms.
Yeah.
Swans.
The shield design is very nice there.
Yeah. I love the face with like the rust and the verdigris and stuff.
Yeah, the patina, especially because it looks like she's been crying.
And the little shrine in the belly. It's so good.
Lit up like Christmas. These are available individually, or you can order the Crusader-esque starter set, which contains the noble and officer, the Sicarii, the mounted sergeants, and we haven't focused in on these, but that's a resculpt.
Men at Arms,
That's a resculpt of the Men at Arms, and the other part of the Men at Arms box is this. Now, the Men at Arms currently are bow or hand weapon shield, I think. That's sort of militia Men at Arms-y thing. Now they make this, or they make this Crusader-looking unit with flails.
I'm digging that.
I'm expecting a possible dual kit.
Yeah, they'll be out in the future.
For bow to come then as well, because these are night and day beyond the old style, which were very static, again, because of the initial sort of sculpting runs.
Lots of very nice flails.
Lovely.
The flail unit, I couldn't believe that was the same unit until I double checked.
You can tell in the shield designs, can't you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at the sort of tabards they're wearing.
Yeah. It just shows you what you can do with a different paint scheme, doesn't it, as well? Just to kind of break them
a quick ad swap.
So, Very nice.
Oh, 100%.
Lovely jubbly.
I'm expecting a lot of Crusadery nonsense coming for 100.
Oh, yeah.
100 Kingdoms. It looks like they're about to bring fire and sword to civilizations here, there, and everywhere. I imagine the Old Dominion needed talking to. Maybe they're going to go there.
I don't know. I'm willing to bet it's the Spires. Deus Vult, God wills it. You burn.
Destroy the clones.
I don't think it will stop them.
No.
Right, Benjamin then. Looking forward to some sci-fi releases for January.
Yeah, so Covers Belly have been plotting out what they're going to be releasing in the first month of next year. The selection of new characters, as well as expansion stuff for some of the stuff we've got in Sandtrap, and a few bits and pieces there as well to kind of reinvent older miniature kits. We start with Dr. Priya Harper, who is an archaeologist who liberates treasure from alien ruins. So if you were looking to play essentially Lara Croft,
I was about to say she looks a little bit raidery.
If you're going to add her into your sci-fi games, she is one to choose and add into your collection. She's a mercenary that you can throw into the mix as well, but also has pano links and all kinds of stuff there too. Comes with a very nice plasma rifle, I believe, actually. It's quite nice. So very fancy stuff.
It's handy for finding almost extinct dinosaurs and then making them extinct.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No Jurassic Park for you.
I mean, you have to have that avant-garde, banquet dinner.
Yeah, of course.
She at least goes out and gets her own food.
Yeah. Eating Tyrannosaurus Rex eggs. As well as Priya Harper, there is also Jamie Arantes, who is the Netroid rover. So she was someone who's been part of the likes of O12 and the Torchlight Brigade, but now takes on a sort of mercenary role as well. Still fits in very nicely with the aesthetic and the style of the Torchlight Brigade and stuff, and the action pack that came out for that. not too long ago now, I suppose. But she is obviously rocking some very fancy weapons, including the plasma rifle you see there, and a rather hefty launcher too, so she can blow holes in things. So a nice sort of bonus addition to what you get in there for O12, if you want to take it down that route and build things up in that direction. Obviously good for fighting on the frontiers, as you might imagine they do, looking after the populace like good policemen.
It is cool seeing the design of this, where it looks like she's been retrofitting and adding to like a base armor suit to customize it for herself.
The kind of background to them and a lot of the other kind of stuff they've done for O12 is that you'll find that agents get sent out to frontier towns to watch over them, kind of like a marshal almost, and they have to kind of make do with what they've got there, and that's kind of, as you say, typified in what Arantes is wearing in that
additional blast padding and stuff being strapped on.
Yeah, there's also a couple of expansion packs for the two factions that were in Sandtrap. So there's one for the Shinden Butai, which comes with some new miniatures for you to throw in there. Looking very nice. Obviously, you can see just gorgeous details. Don't know why anyone would play Pano when you've got Shinden Butai. So
JSA exists.
The JSA exists, so why does anything else have to? Looking super cool. Love the cool coat with the little the cord over the front of it. Very sort of Yakuza-ish. So it was quite nice.
It's almost like a yukata.
I like his half samurai mask.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And is that a double pistol?
Looks
it looks like it could possibly be either a 2 or 4 barreled gun.
And then alongside that, you've also got the expansion pack for the Kestrels as well. Looking very nice as well. Continuing the aesthetic of them. A lot of people really enjoy the mask look of these guys, and I think I agree on that point. But there is just something about the JSA and the Shinden Butai that kind of levels them up above the others. Anything else at the moment? But it's the correct choice. I don't mind what you pick, but it's the correct choice if you go JSA. So.
Correct.
Because who cares about Pano? The dirty Pano. Down with the system.
Hack the planet.
Hack the planet. Yes. Play ALF. Talking of ALF, there was also a set that was actually released this month, and it's a revamp of one of the older kits. So this is the post-humans, and this is that next evolution of humanity effectively within the ALF faction. And the really nice thing about these is that they're all essentially individual AIs, but they move between bodies depending on the scenarios that they need to get involved with and their expertise. So if one of them's really good at hacking or whatever, it'll like zoom into the hacker body, and then it'll take that and run it, and then it'll go back to a central sort of nervous system almost, and then go out and then occupy different elements of the post-human design, which I think is a really, really cool way of sort of taking them. Obviously, it's freaky as hell, and you should probably make sure that you press the off switch on ALF. But I don't think you can do that, unfortunately, nowadays. But there we go. But a really nice kit and a very lovely sort of update on the existing post-humans to kind of like bring them in line with the new designs and aesthetics of the later models in the Infinity range.
It also means playing the game. It means they're a lot more versatile, and your opponent can't lock down. There's your hacker. They need to get there for the objective. I'll just lock them down or attempt to kill them because they don't know which one is going to get that. The fact that this
cool theming,
this lady at the front has got a Phantom Menace droid control ship as a hat.
I saw that and I was like, where is the face? Oh, there's the face.
Face in the middle. This is very similar to where Anakin would fly through. Anyway.
Small child somehow knows how to pilot spacecraft. Let's go.
It was a pod racer.
But some really nice stuff there from the World of Infinity to kick off the new year. There is a bunch of other stuff coming in the following months as well. Obviously, a lot of people have been diving into Infinity with the new Sandtrap set and all that kind of thing as well. So you've got plenty of options for getting started and then expanding your collection for Infinity in 2025. So yeah, very good.
Fancy. Right. Salute.
Yes.
It's coming up in April.
It is a thing. As always, it's one of my favorite shows to go and do. And they have revealed 2 miniatures that you can lay your hands on. If you're quick for the first one, because they've only made 5,000 of these, and it is, now let me make sure I get this right, Lieutenant Colonel James McDonnell, sculpted by Paul Hicks. So first 5,000 people through the door will get one of these little dudes in your goodie bag. So if you're going, get there early and don't miss out. He is absolutely lovely. So fought at the Battle of Waterloo. I believe he was defending the Hougoumont, if I remember right.
Yep.
And what else was it in the article? I think Wellington called him, what was it?
The bravest man in the British Army.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So a very nice little one that you can lay your hands on, painted or sculpted by Paul Hicks, who you know is just a fabulous sculptor.
Yeah.
And then our next one.
I was just going to say quickly. I think Wellington kind of forgot there was another badass at Waterloo, but never mind. Just ignore Sharp. Whatever. I don't care. Real history and all that. Anyway.
All right. Now, the other miniature Salute is doing is actually one that Jerry's not going to like because it's all the ones and zeros. So it's a digital miniature that you can get if you scan the QR code in the magazine that you get. So this is a Highlander mech pilot.
Cool.
Now, a mech pilot? Just saying.
Mech pilot reporting for duty.
So this one was made by the folks at Crow Industries, designed by them. I believe it was John Johansson or Johansson. I'm not sure which way to pronounce that. But yeah, like I said, so there's a QR code inside the magazine that you'll get if you're going along to Salute that will let you pick up this little guy. Yeah, program.
If you want to get it early, the Salute program is always available the month in advance through
Wargames Illustrated?
No.
Wargames
Miniatures and Battles.
Okay, cool.
So that's where I always get mine from. So
cool.
if you were wanting to get them early, you should be able to grab it that way.
Yeah,
also
or
note
if
the Highlander sword, by the way, on his shoulder.
Yes.
Yes. Although if you can't make it to the show and you would love to have this little guy, that's a good way to get him. So beautiful design, nice, heavy, chunky armor, feels Scottish. He's wearing the full traditional kilt. And as well as the claymore, he's got a nice little pistol down on the side.
He does.
Love him. Yeah. Absolutely love him.
We'll have to have a look at Crow Industries in more detail in a future show because they do some really nice mech-based stuff, as you might have guessed by the fact that they made a mech pilot. So
yeah. I will assume you'll want a John for that.
Yes. But I love James McDonnell as well. Super cool miniature.
He's great. Closing the door. After possibly pushing the door open to Sally Forth.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the French knock on the door. No, sorry, we don't want any today.
Yeah.
Oh,
knock on the door with an axe.
Who wants it? You all want it, and I've got plenty for all of you. That is a gorgeous sculpt.
It's lovely.
I'm looking forward to seeing how he fits in with my British. Probably taller than them all, because mine are Perry's founding brush.
Okay.
So older, but still sweet. Sweet to the beat. He's great. That's nice. But if you've got to the point where your mech pilots have to get out and walk around the place with a pistol and a sword, you're in a bad way. You're about to get stamped on.
I mean, he has clearly got to where he's going. He's off the pub.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right there. He's just going to get a pint. He's had a long day of piloting a mech.
Yeah.
Day's done. I need the sword to get to the bar.
Get out of the door.
Makes sense to me.
If there's an argument over the tab at the end of the night, I think he's going to win there.
Yeah.
That's why he's kept the helmet on, so he can reach out and give people a Glasgow kiss.
That, and no one can get his face to actually put him on the wall of shame.
Influence people without making friends. Glasgow kiss. Right. Moving back to historics, we have a little Brucey bonus from Firelock. Yeah, so a new mini campaign from Edgar, who did Blood and Steel. This is Into the Fireline, and it's a way of combining your games into a more cohesive campaign, shall we say. It's not a big, onerous task. It's only a 4-page little mini pamphlet you can download, but it gives you everything you need to do to adapt the Blood and Steel rules into a campaign, or there's a sort of a streamlined campaign system for 4 to 6 games, And then there's also the option to do narrative play, as you can see here, where you have a bit of a experience buff up on your commander. They suggest playing either teams or playing 1v1 when you're doing this. And it's something you can do within a day, which is good. So if you're unaware, Blood and Steel is the sort of colonial era rule set that they've come up with. So it's the late 19th century. So after people move away from musketry into better guns, say goodbye to caseless ammunition, essentially. This will do your American Civil War, the wars in Africa from the various colonial powers, the Seminole War with the Indians and down in Florida, that sort of thing, are all part and parcel of this. The rule set itself has this sort of push and pull mechanic where the scenario you're playing will tell you what options you have available for your missions. So if people haven't played Blood and Steel, the way it works is you draw a mission from either a deck of cards or a chit or something like that, and it's private. Your opponent doesn't know what it is, and it might say something like advance into your opponent's deployment zone and start scoring points from turn 2, or it might be go and set fire to a building or something like that. Take out the highest unit on the table. So you're doing something, but you're trying not to let your opponent know what you're doing. Some forces within there have modifiers or allow you to do things like ambush in a scenario. So these rules go, okay, here's your standard mission deck, but for this first mission, you can only pick from these specific cards. So you build like a mission deck from the mission deck that subtracts ones that wouldn't be feasible. And then that allows you to play through and go, okay, for this one, I can't use this ambush rule, but I can play any of these. You draw blind, you play your game, and then the winner goes on to be the aggressor in the next one, and the defeated becomes the defender, and you get that sort of push and pull mechanic, which can either be just a series of linked games, or you can think of it as part of a larger battle. So something like Isandwana, where you have thousands of Zulus against hundreds of British and their allies. That huge battle, but taking place at various points along the line. So you can sort of calculate it that way. If you're playing with teams, you have a sort of a combined victory points total, and that will tell you who is the aggressor for the next one. So you may win your individual game, but your opponent or your teammate's opponent may have won by a bigger margin on another table, and then that will tell you. You just tally up whoever's
That's
closest.
Cool.
But the narrative bit adds in experience, and I quite like it. It's not particularly egregious. It's just when you hit 5 points and sort of you get a point for wiping out units, or you get a point for break points that you've inflicted on the enemy. So when you hit 5, which probably won't be the first game unless you really go ham, you get a chance to roll on a chart, and the chart gives you some bonuses for your commander. Now, there are command abilities for another game, Lion Rampant, Men Who Would Be Kings, that type of thing, where they're not so much abilities, they are your commander type. And I would love to combine these, because your commander type can be things like drunkard, which gives it like a minor negative, or some of them have no impact. They just give you a flavor for the commander you're playing. And I like the idea of having that with these, because if your commander gets, obviously a lot of buffs or whatever, but he just happens to be somebody who likes a tipple, then yes, he may be great, but occasionally he's going to give the wrong order to the wrong people. Or if he gets killed, then you have to promote one of your under officers to be your new commander, and they're going to start off at a flat 0 XP. Yeah. But if they've got the little flavor bits, I think it's well worth people going and having a look for those. But you can see, they're fairly simple. Choose your next mission, secretly choose which mission this leader's force will undertake in the game from those available. So being able to pick rather than drawing blind or getting a bullet, which is essentially a reroll for a specific action in the game. But it's really nice just to see Edgar sort of jumping in there and doing something with it.
Yeah, it's nifty.
And I see absolutely no reason why they can't be extrapolated upon that rule set, because obviously Blood and Plunder Blood and Valor, Blood and Steel, Blood and Crowns. I want to say Roses, but I think it's Crowns is the medieval one. They all work in the same D10 system. Bite the bullet style mechanic. They do vary slightly in things like initiative and missions. So you may have to do a little bit of tinkering, but it's a very light rule set that you can just slap on top of any of those Blood and games. If you fancy a bit of narrative or campaign play.
Very good for the Napoleonic one coming next year, since it's about the Peninsula campaign, which is a campaign in of itself. So you could follow all of that through from
they may
the coast all the way to the other end. Yeah, they might do, actually. That's true. This might be a taster of that. Yeah.
Time will tell how it goes, but for the low price of absolutely nothing at all, why not go and download it? Even if you don't have the Blood and games, there's just some nice little interesting mechanics to string your games together and
bolt it onto something.
Give you a bit of a campaign flavour for your gamings. Right. Sticking with historical black powder, Ben.
Yeah, so from a civil war to a revolutionary one, which was not very civil. The Perry Miniatures crew are going to be working their way through a whole host of brand new miniatures in the new year. They previewed this week their new French Revolutionary War range that is going to be popping up. All of them metal, all of them 28mm, as you would have guessed, and looking absolutely fantastic. As is the case with anything that the Perrys do, they are meticulously researched and well detailed and packed with character. I mean, just the line command set is lovely in of itself. You're waving back at him.
Yes.
If you don't talk to your little men, how do you know they're working properly? That's
exactly.
Absolutely fantastic little set there. But that's just the start of it. They are also working on a extraordinarily large amount of just basic line infantry. And because, again, this is Perry Miniatures, you could just have, this is the line infantry set, but no, because it's them, they've done, this is the line infantry set, but with this uniform, with this helmet, with this uniform, with this helmet. And then they've done both a marching version of those units and also a firing skirmishing version at the same time. So if you're building big regiments or just playing smaller scale games, they have options to cover both of those. And especially considering the French Revolutionary War and all that kind of period of turmoil, a lot of it was sort of street to street fighting in towns with robbed weapons that they've managed to steal from places and stolen artillery and all that kind of thing. That kind of feels like it makes sense to kind of go down that route too. So if you wanted to play around in that period, you've got plenty of different rule sets out there to do that with, but now also a selection of really nice miniatures at the same time, which is good. So really good stuff on that front. I think they've done 3, maybe 4. There might be 4 sets of line infantry so far. That's going to be bulked out, no doubt, throughout the course of next year as well. It seems like it's the next passion project for Alan. The other thing they have mentioned, and it's not pictured here, is that they also dropped a sneaky little bit at the bottom of their announcement for 2025 to say that they're going to be working on a huge amount of new plastic kits. So that's going to be interesting to see where they go with that. Maybe fill in some more of the gaps, perhaps, that they have in there. I mean, their range is already pretty extensive anyway. Maybe it'll be some plastic sets for a period that, we don't necessarily see that often. That could be quite interesting. So
maybe.
We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, lovely set of stuff there from the folks at Perry Miniatures. Keep an eye out for that in the new year. Can't wait to see what kind of tables people build. And also, you could include young Napoleon. That could be cool.
You can, if you don't know enough about the French Revolutionary Wars, you can go watch Ridley Scott's historical epic.
Of course, yeah.
Which will give you all the information you need.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about the time aliens lifted him up and explained how he's going to win and all that. I assume. I don't know. I'm not saying.
Then you can go and play Assassin's Creed, and you can meet him in that as well. So,
all of this seems absolutely bang on, historically accurate.
Yep.
So I don't see any problem with any of
this.
No
problem whatsoever. Moving on from that, we're sticking with historicals, but we're ending on a pretty big one. So Battlefront's Peter revealed their plans for 2025, effectively. And we're going to be focusing in specifically here on the World War II stuff that they talked about, because there's 3 different sort of big announcements within this one. So we start off with the fact that the Pacific is going to be coming to the tabletop in April. This was teased at the end of last year, and I think it was meant to come out at some point this year, but obviously things have moved and things. So this is now going to be arriving in April. This will be a new book that covers all of the fighting between 1942 and 1943 in the Pacific with your island hopping and all that kind of thing. It won't just cover the Americans and the Japanese. They've also got rules in there for the British and the Commonwealth troops that would have been fighting during this period and in this theatre of war as well. And that is then backed up by a selection of different starter forces that are going to be coming out. So you've got the Japanese Rifle Company, as you can see, the US Marine Rifle Company, and also the British Far East Rifle Company. And each of these will come with a hefty amount of infantry because, that's the nature of the fighting over there, alongside a variety of different armored vehicles and guns as well. And you will also get the limited edition tokens and dice within each of these sets to fit these factions. So if you really want to show off on the tabletop, you'll have those as well, which is a nice bonus. Mm-hmm. Following on from the Pacific, we're also going to be getting Operation Bagration is back, but with a big new book. So this one's chock-a-block, according to the video. And this will be landing in August, and obviously we'll cover your fighting on the Eastern Front. So if you want to nudge Shay and tell him to build more Soviets,
well, I mean,
you'll have an option to do so.
Depending on where he's going with
army
his
getting on, Justin?
Oh,
I don't know.
Honestly, it's been ages since I've looked near any historical wargaming.
Do you know where your Soviet army is?
Not a clue.
Don't tell me it's in the bin, because I'll cry if you do.
No, I think it's sitting on the shelves in my kitchen.
Well, this would be an ideal opportunity for you to dust it off.
It would be,
recreation.
Well, maybe.
So, as a lot of people know, obviously, with Flames of War, they go through iterations during the editions of just releasing the books again and things like that. So this is more of a condensing of a lot of the stuff they've done in the past. You'll obviously have the new reinforcement card pack, which will add in updated stuff for the current edition of the game as well. But obviously a really nice way for you to play out battles between the Soviets and the Germans on the eastern front of Europe there, which is quite nice. And the other thing I should note as well is that they've said that all of the, and you can see it mentioned at the bottom of the image, all the books will come with a QR code that will allow you to download the forces and also a digital PDF version as well. So if you want to have it on a tablet or something, you can do, if that's how you prefer to read your books and stuff.
It is not, but thank you anyway.
Well, there we go. You've got it as a bonus, and a bonus extra you can throw in the bin.
Sure, you can gift it to Paul.
There you go. Yeah, good idea.
Why would I inflict PDFs? That'd be like a Krampusy thing to do.
Yeah. The biggest announcement was that they're going to be going to early war. So this is something that they've wanted to do for a really long time, and they've not felt like they've had the sort of, they've not necessarily had all the resources to do it. So they're going to go diving in properly and really reinforce it this time around. So 2025 will see the release of the Blitzkrieg book, which covers the invasion of France in 1940. This will be supported by 2 new starter sets for the early war, which will have French versus Germans, and also one that is the British versus Germans. So if you wanted to do a few more of those early encounters, you can do. And obviously, of course, the retreat back of the British forces to Dunkirk and things like that, you could play that out, which would be quite cool. There will also be a couple of additional books that are coming out in the next year. So you'll have Barbarossa, as you can see there, and Battle Axe covering the Eastern Front, and the fighting in North Africa, which is quite nice to see. So plenty of stuff on that front. But it wouldn't be Battlefront without new miniatures, and they're also going to be doing a heck load of those. There are so many new plastics coming out, covering all the different all 3 of the factions covered in Blitzkrieg, so the French, the Germans, and the British. All plastic kits that you're seeing here, apart from possibly the ones at the end, which we'll get to in a second. But you'll have new tanks for the French, new full French infantry kit, which is looking really nice. They've clearly, the stuff they did for Team Yankee when they did their plastics was a really nice test bed for what they were going to be doing in 15mm with the rest of their plastic infantry. And I think these are turning out really nicely. It's good to see the French obviously getting a look in, obviously in the early war, makes sense. Some Panzer IIs, if you want to rock those for your Germans, alongside a few additional sort of infantry kits for the Germans as well. So you get things like your German infantry for early war with the brand new plastic kit. That's the painted up versions there, as you can see, and also heavy guns. There are also other special weapon teams and things that they've been working on for that. But I particularly like the guns. I think they look really good. We've invaded you, and now we're going to blow you away. So there we go.
I do wish they hadn't given them an 88. No need for this.
Yeah.
Give them 105s.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll have a special fuel or a special rule for the special chocolate they were given during that invasion.
Oh?
Yeah,
What's that?
it was chocolate laced with methamphetamine.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, reports from the front were highly motivated troops, but bad decision making.
Oh, interesting. Very cool.
Shay actually brought some of it in, minus the meth, obviously. It was tasty.
Oh, shame. What?
No.
It's like Coca-Cola. Put the cocaine back in or stop messing with it.
Yeah. nice crumb of meth. Right. And also finish things off for the plastics. There's also some stuff for the British. So there are obviously the British infantry coming with a very nice new sprue, and also some British weapon teams as well. So plenty of things on that front. This is by no means the end of what they've got coming up. There's lots of new miniatures coming out in plastic. One of the big things they talked about, big being the operative word here, is that they're also going to do a set of early war heavies. So big, chunky tanks.
The most ridiculous design of all time.
Land train-esque stuff. As Peter says in the video, there's stuff for the French, stuff for the British, and something entirely unpronounceable in German, which I thought was quite good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. But some really nice bits and pieces.
Why would you ever want a TOG?
Yeah. Why would you not, eh? Yeah.
It'll clear any trench that your opponent puts down.
It will. Yeah.
Until they do the one thing you don't expect, which is not in trench.
Yeah. But as it stands, early war is a period of World War II that I don't think necessarily gets much of a look in. A lot of the fighting tends to be played out in mid or, well...
late. It's all late.
Yeah.
Everybody
it is
wants
all
the
late.
big toys.
Yeah. A lot of early war stuff tends to be played out in the desert, effectively. But then I think it kind of gets forgotten in Europe, so it's nice to see that sort of coming back here in 15 mil. And as we talked about earlier in the show with Gorgon and stuff, it would be nice to see if other companies follow suit into the new year, because obviously with the likes of Warlord doing their new Armies of books, they have a nice breakdown of early, mid, and late war stuff in there. So maybe we'll see some releases in 28 mil and in other scales to cover that period. So if you don't necessarily want to play Flames of War, but you get excited by the idea of doing the early war stuff with the Germans, the French, and the British, maybe you could find another avenue through another game. But yeah, really nice stuff coming up there. There's even more. Yeah, there's even more stuff coming out as well, but we'll cover that in the new year. But yeah, there is a video. You can go and check it out, watch, and see all the other juicy miniatures they've been showing off as well. Very cool.
See. Right. I think that's enough news. Let's have a wee swish when we come out and round out the show. All right, taking a look at some ones and zeros for people who like ones and zeros.
Not people like you, Jerry.
Not people like me. Well, this will confuse people, though.
It will.
So we're going to be taking a look at Mantic Games Vault, which, despite my hatred of ones and zeros, I am subscribed to on the grounds. If I don't send them money, maybe they'll shut up shop and stop making Kings of War. So it's the same thing I had with Westphalia.
Yes,
I backed all their ones and zeros. Never downloaded any of those either. But what if they just shut up shop and went away and Boris stopped sculpting? I'd cry. So,
worst day ever.
Yep. So the Mantic Vault is STLs from Mantic. It's a monthly subscription service. It's been going now for almost a year and a half.
I think something like that. Yeah.
Certainly long enough that I've received the option of downloading both 6-month and 1 year anniversary things, which I think
lovely.
Yeah.
So if you get started into it, there are things like a welcome pack that is getting ever bigger, which includes some weird and wacky stuff. Now, the vault is broken down into two things. Whole miniatures, what you can download and do things with, and then the resin upgrade parts, which means if you've got the plastic kits, then you can upgrade them without having to pay for the resiny bits. So you can see here things like a Cyclops for the Night Stalkers, or the Riftforged Orc Storm Chaser giant parts. But you still need to have the giant model. And this was part of the idea behind it, was so they wouldn't undercut local stores that are stocking Mantic stuff. Yes, you can go and buy your plastic kits at your local game store. And then if you want to, you can pick up these things, which are generally Mantic Direct in most cases. So they're not cutting things out. And the other things are just fun, weird things. So you can see in there the likes of Blaine, everybody's favorite interdimensional traveler, or the big fat demon that carries a dice so you can mark your turns. So you just have it sitting at the side of the board, marking turn by turn. And things I've never seen before. That plant monster. I have no idea where that plant monster came from. I've never seen it before anywhere. It just exists here. Maybe it was a design that never went anywhere.
Something that someone sculpted and then they went, nah, maybe not.
Yeah.
I mean, do we think we'll sell enough of this to actually make the molds?
Yeah.
But or maybe they designed it and then was like, well, I don't know where we're going to put it. Is it fantasy? Should it be a force of nature figure? I don't know. Anyway, so things like even the traps for the original Dungeon Saga, which I had my set of those in resin. They were only available there. And everybody's favorite bard, Ronaldo, Ronnie the Bard, bouncing around the place. I imagine they based that bard character from the Dungeons and Dragons movie on Ronnie.
Chris Pine's character.
I thought it was Chris Pine, but then didn't want to say it because I'm thinking, was it though? I can't remember anymore. They all look alike. So yes, if you sign up, you can get this bucket load of stuff, and so some unreleased things. So if you need a medic for your GCPS, I suggest you're doing it wrong. Just let them die.
I love this little dude, the Goblin Sniper.
Yes, Goblin Snipers are good, because my snipers for Dead Zone are all running away or jumping off a tower. So actually having one that's shooting is quite good. And then that, I think he's 901, the plague freak out of the Maison Labs.
Right.
Sometimes you've just got to go full Weapon X Logan, just put a helmet on him and then send him off to rip things apart. I imagine he's watching some sort of VR thing where he's not seeing whatever's in front of him. Probably piloting him.
Oh no, it's clearly a content filter, Ben. It's not blood and guts. It's sparkles and rainbows.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So,
a question then, Jerry.
Yes.
So you say this is a monthly subscription.
Yes.
Whenever you subscribe, do you get access to everything from previous months or just from that month onwards?
From that month onwards.
Okay, sorry. Important question.
You can buy the stuff somewhere. My Mini Factory. I don't know if there's a discount for the previous ones for being a subscriber or not. There was talk about that at one stage, but since I never planned on doing anything with them, I don't care.
You can buy the previous packs on that site as well. So
yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I know it was a question that someone in the community would probably want to ask.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love the little puppy.
You love the little who?
The little doggo at the top.
Top left.
The Mastiff.
Yeah.
The Cyber Mastiff for the Forge Fathers. So some of the monthly packs are themed. They normally have a name. As you can see, this one is filled with Forge Fathers for Dead Zone / Firefight. But then it's also got a set of Mythic and Thools for your Trident Realms, and then a host of boots for the Armada sea game as well, including big things. So if you want to have your Abyssal fleet, you can do this thing. What they've been doing with these is, like I say, trying to theme them as much as humanly possible. So again, upgrades that exist for the Mantic store, and you can go in and you can buy these if you don't do 3D printing in resin. If you have a 3D printer and you just want to pick a load of magma hammers up so you can absolutely go ham on somebody in close combat, Paul, beware of these guys. Just saying. Then you can do this. And, there's some nice optional upgrades for things like commands for Kings of War that they haven't done in a while. Or if you want to pick him up without him being metal, you can do this. Mine's metal. I will say that haft of his hammer is a weak spot in the metal one because it was relatively soft metal. Really good capture on the details, but I will probably drill mine out.
So
pin it at some point.
The one thing I remember when they launched the Vault is that they hadn't worked on the file sizes. So
Yes.
when you got them, they were
Oh, they
absolutely
were
stupidly massive because they were the
magnificently
work
huge.
files.
Yes.
Oh, right.
So much so that somebody was fit to print one of these ships, which is like
In
that
28
big,
mil or something.
and they
Yeah.
printed in 28 mil
Yeah.
because it had all the detail. They've subsequently, since the initial release where they went absolutely ham with that, they have reduced them,
right.
and they've also you also get the option of supported.
That's a
and
nice touch.
unsupported now, where I think they originally
They
weren't.
didn't do originally. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is becoming an
Those.
industry standard of having
Just
your
those.
FTL files pre-supported.
Yeah.
Everybody loves squid-faced halflings, don't they?
Yeah, that's terrifying.
They are great. Oh, they're absolutely fantastic. You
We
get
will
full
feed
mythic in
forever.
with host shadow beast, and then you just
Mm.
run off with a couple of trips of them and him and pound the absolute shit out of anybody in front of you.
The Ood are having a very bad day.
Yeah.
Oh, anybody who comes up against them are having a bad day. High five. He will absolutely take you to the cleaners.
Hmm.
Eiffel
and then,
Tower.
and then
Those
some
are creepy.
little splashies
Yes.
in case you need tiny, I say tiny, in case you need giant abyssal things writhing up out of the depths, which is good, obviously, because the new 2-player start set is abyssals against Trident Realms for Kings of
yeah.
War, which means if you plan on playing Armada for maybe a campaign,
Ooh,
you can link
good
them all
shout.
together.
Yeah.
That's a hatch for a Forge Father vehicle.
Okay.
In
Upgrade
case
spot.
you're looking to do that. So whenever you come down, you can download it. It does say what game they belong to, although there's obviously blur between Dead Zone and Firefight. So some of those upgrade parts could actually be used in Firefight as well, and vice versa. And then if there's a linked product with it, it will tell you. So
That's nice.
where's the best place to go? Packs. Dun, dun, dun.
And
you
there's
can
quite a lot
see-
to choose from.
When did it start? May 23. Okay.
There you go.
So-
Yeah.
So yeah, over a year and a half now. And like I say, they were themed at the time. The initial packs were just the miniatures. Obviously, it meant if people were looking to get into Armada, cards were missing. The cards have been added since they've
Oh,
went
okay.
back, because
Oh,
somebody went,
lovely.
you should really have the cards for those as well, because everything's
That's
played
nice.
off the cards. But it means you can do some interesting things, including, and these are the more recent ones, where they started adding in bits and pieces for Dead Zone into here, so you can get your hands on a nice set of Dead Zone bases, or Ben, if you want some massive Saurus Cav.
Oh,
Those are
me like
beefy.
it. Mm.
Oh, they are chunky boys.
Oh, I
They're
love
Salamander
those.
Prime.
Look at that detail on those weapons. Oh.
I
Yeah,
love that.
they were
That
the
scroll work on
ceremonial
big
guard.
claws.
Yeah.
So they just a nice upgrade for the plastics.
days.
Beautiful.
Yeah, including their junky boat.
Mm.
If you want to go all junky boaty for the Salamanders,
Cool.
which I really liked. But the more recent ones, they did these Dead Zone factions. They were part of a My Mini Factory campaign
I remember, yes.
where
Yeah.
they came up with bits and pieces. So if I go into that one, for example, they've garnered together a host of miniatures from various places, including some unreleased. He's a big, beefy metal figure with a flip-top head with a tiny little goblin inside driving it. And they went, okay, well, we can do these off as a one-off pack of something that can be then ran as a specific Dead Zone 200-point force. Can't be changed, can't be modified. It is what it is. But it means they've been able to go back and use some weird and wacky figures from all over the place, including things like the Rebs. And I mean, that's a Kings of War. Bang It, which is used to do something explosive in Dead Zone instead, which I mean, I'm on board for. It has to be said. Ronnie Rocket Pants there. Use with Ronnie the Bard. But they've been tinkering away with this for a while and trying to get more themed over time, where there is something for everyone. So it doesn't matter whether you play sci-fi, play fantasy, or play boat-based games without rigging. There should be something in the pack each month for you. Initially, there were complaints that they themed too heavily to Kings of War or some months there was nothing but sci-fi, and people were going, well, it's the internet, we like to complain. Therefore, even though this is costing us peanuts compared to the actual price on My Mini Factory,
no one's
for
ever
the
happy,
individual.
so.
Yeah. They were going, well, there's nothing in it for me this month. Why have I paid £4? Well, because the previous month you paid £4 and got 120 quid's worth of STL files. That's why. No, that's not how this works. Okay, then. So they changed that. So every month you get something. You'll shoot people in the face with your guns.
The goblins by Mantic are so good.
That's a weird one.
It's a
flyer, isn't it?
It's a flyer for Armada. It was originally done for the dwarves, and then people went, I hate that. So then they had to resculpt a new flyer for the dwarves instead. I think it now belongs to the Abyssal dwarves. Hence,
very detailed.
These. The scroll work on the Abyssal dwarves is gorgeous. It's on and there's the Giant's Causeway.
Hey,
it's on the Immortals as well.
Right.
I don't think are part of this pack. I think they're in one of the other months.
I like the little fort.
That's a good
Boyard.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's an old show.
It's a very old show. It's older than you think. Because Crystal Maze is based on it.
Yeah.
Yes. So a whole host of stuff.
Yep.
Month by month. Go nuts. If I go to the most recent pack, it'll probably show the cards as well.
A blackness of the soul.
Yes. This is now but a ton of Abyssal bits and pieces. So I opened that.
I did say the fleet cards were above.
Yeah, the fleet cards are involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Kingdoms of Men fleet, which they said to never do because people could just buy the plastics from Warlord from Black Seas.
Yeah.
And then they went, you know what, we will, because it's proving a popular fleet. So they're not just resin, they're fantastical versions of a bespoke human ship. I like the fact that this one has got
iron prow.
Yeah, like they've skinned it like a Greek trireme to stop people setting it on fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's nice. It's just, stops people chucking oil at you from a distance.
True.
Or, considering the amount of elves around, burning you with dracons, which is, all filthy all the time. So yeah, they've been doing this for a while
stuff.
now.
What's in the freebies?
What's in the freebies?
Yeah.
I don't know. Why would I even open that? Oh, the Basilean fleet. Ger Panther.
Right, two ships in there.
Two ships, two frigates.
Yeah, so if anyone's wanting to give it a go and see what they're like, you can try before you buy.
Yeah. And considering how good the quality of almost basic print, I say basic, but standard printers are nowadays, you could probably get some really nice prints out of these.
I mean, seeing some of Warren's 3D prints recently, even from the FDM stuff and the Bamboo Lab stuff, has just blown my mind.
Yeah, it's great.
Now, they do have My Mini Factory. We could probably have a look and see what some of the things cost. But I'd like to draw people's attention to this because they're currently running a thing for Vanguard. And Vanguard I absolutely adore. And Vanguard has some amazing sculpts, which were all in resin and therefore expensive. Mm-hmm. So they've been doing this, what do they call it? Frontier? Yeah, Frontier. So this has been popping out as about a week and a half ago, where you can get your hands on a whole host of really, really nice fantasy character models. So whether it's for the Basileans, hello Matt, no person I don't know who isn't Matt,
Matt, I'm not
including
Matt.
the rules and the like as well. Vanguard is a really good fantasy skirmish game. It is
overlooked, I'd say.
It is a deep fantasy skirmish. I know some people go, oh, it's skirmish, therefore it's got a rules light set that you don't have to think about. Vanguard is not that, and I appreciate it for not being that, because Kings of War is very rules light. So I don't need a skirmish game that does that. I want one that focuses in and drills down. The use of power dice and the like are in here. But as you can see, there's a whole host of Basilean delightful people, from dictators to sisters to Basilean ogre guard.
Yeah.
So do you want an ogre that's also a paladin? Yes, please. You can have them. and you can run them as a unit in Kings of War, and they are filth. The dwarves are absolutely great.
Wow.
Oh, look, good-looking dwarves.
They are sweet, sweet like candy. I know you don't like the flat helms, but I really do like the flat helms.
I don't know. It's just I don't like them on the original plastics that they have for the dwarves, whereas these are just amazing.
I'm hoping at some point they retool or do versions of the plastics and bring them more in line with these. See him for
More
Kings
of
of
that.
War. He's absolutely great. Absolutely fantastic. Big 40mm base, a dwarf in a mechanical suit like Iron Man Mark 1. Then give them wings of the honey maze and just fly them around the place and set fire to people's faces. And then if they come up near you, batter the living god out of them with an axe. It's great.
Fair. Well, something that'll make you happy, Jerry. John has jumped in and bought himself a Kings of War army.
I know. I've been working out a list based on what he bought. Because
what did he go for in the end?
Undead.
Ooh.
Got the mega army, the elite army, and a skeleton horde. I can make quite a big army out of that. But yeah, so if people are interested,
didn't do it by halves then.
No,
love the terrain you get in this.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nice
Vanguard's a corking game. I need to finish painting my Vanguard forces. I should paint my Vanguard forces before I do anything else because they're low miniature count.
Do you have a Trident Realms Vanguard force? Because then you could paint that, and then it could be added in to your Kings of War army for the tournament next year. But
don't annoyingly, because it wasn't part of the initial. So I've got the initial stuff from the Kings of War or the Vanguard Kickstarter. Yeah. So I've got all of these, and then I also got the Abyssal Dwarves when they came out because they were corking as well. So I've got things like Twiglets.
They're lovely. Yeah.
I've got some of the Abyssal stuff at the top. I don't have the Twiglet bits of the pieces at the bottom because
they were relatively new comparably. Yeah. So,
although absolutely gorgeous nonetheless. I have all of the goblins.
Yes, that's me right there.
Yeah. So if you're interested in the Mantic Vault, it's great, but you don't know what you're going to get from month to month. If you are interested in grabbing fantasy things, then there's a whole host of bits and pieces you can get via the Frontier campaign.
The benefit of the Frontier campaigns as well is that it's not a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So when you pledge, you get it immediately. Yeah. So you just have the files. So
like I say, they did Dead Zone previously.
Yeah, they did
as well.
Yeah. It's a great idea.
Cool beans.
If I go into the collections, you can see some of the bits and pieces that have kicked up there. So like a strike team is $30. However, in the Mantic Vault, those strike teams were part of single months. So
you're getting more for your buck if you use the vault.
Yeah. What one was that? It's Maison Lab stuff.
I mean, every month it does look like you get a good solid chunk of stuff.
So there's the Maison Labs bits from that $30 pledge. And then you also get, there's the Vanguard stuff you've just been looking at, which are objective markers.
The Hellboy player markers.
The Hellboy, busts
initiative markers,
things. And then also, that looks like evil Basileans. So possibly some form of Night Stalkery Twiglet Kings. What are you? Oh, no, that's the Undead Fleet, which they made out of different. So there's Basilean, Dwarf.
Cool.
Northern Alliance. Yeah, so they were all different undead ships. They've got a really interesting way of them playing as well. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to stop now before I witter on any longer. Just play Kings of War, people. Knuckle down. Play fantasy. Well, do it now. I'll cut you.
I'm not lying. I am tempted by a new Kings of War army. Not the dwarves that you kicked in the teeth. And I never played again.
Maybe if you just play them better.
Yeah. Step 1. Do not deploy within range of ogre shooters with no form of inspiring. That's your first key right there. Unlucky Brox.
Very nice.
Yeah. Right. We have a Kickstarter campaign to take a look at before we bugger off for 2024. Yep. Oh, what is it, Ben?
So this is one that I missed when it was live. This is now open for late pledges. It comes from the awesome Moshartz, who did a campaign for Schatten, über Grimstadt. The tale begins. So this is in the flavour of a lot of stuff at the moment. A grim collection of miniatures for a little bit of fantasy wargaming on the tabletop in 28/32mm scale.
Not at all wartimey.
Yes. So the initial run of miniatures are either pre-supported digital files, or you can get them as printed 3D resin miniatures if you prefer. There were 8 of them to begin with, although that has grown and changed as they have unlocked stuff through stretch goals. There's a collection of really nice multi-part kits that you can obviously use to make the characters as you see here, including a nod to an old, perhaps, Freelancer Knight from back in the day.
That knight was gorgeous.
Yep.
And is unavailable anywhere at all these days.
So print one yourself.
And my copy
and stick a fish on the front.
My copy went God knows where. But yeah, just hammer fish onto his shield.
Yeah.
No,
away you go. But you have the likes of the Freelancer, there's the Highwayman, the Beast Hunter, there's a Buccaneer Ogre as well in there, alongside a werewolf and all sorts of other bits and pieces.
He's got an optional top-hatted plague.
He does, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make a lot out of just one kit if you wanted to, and play around with it and have different characters. But essentially, this is the start of Moshartz Schatten, über, Grimstadt collection that will then develop into more and more over the course of the miniatures range. So the actual set as a whole is called Shadows over Grimstadt, and as you will have guessed from the way that a lot of the miniatures are presented and the way that all the other different art pieces have been added to this campaign, it's all very Mordheim coded. So if you are somebody who is into that kind of game, or indeed just Mordheim itself, this would be a great option for you to dive into. They've even done background documents in the style of the old Town Crier magazines.
Town Crier, yes.
So you can go in and learn a little bit more about the lore and the background of the characters. Stretch goals have unlocked the likes of the Dreg, which is a nice callback to one of the old undead vampire warband members you can get, and a whole bunch of other bits and pieces as well. It looks really nice. They're gorgeous sculpts. Really finely detailed. I like the fact that it's multi-part, so you can mix and match them with other things you might have in your collection as well. Available as both 3D printable miniatures and also STL files if you prefer to go down that route and pick them up. It was a very short and sweet campaign, hence why I'm coming back and having a look at it after the fact. But if you are interested in snapping these up, the campaign was funded and the late pledges are available, and it should be the basis of a new warband or two, I would imagine.
That poor Mantic zombie being shot in the face by that terrible highwayman.
What did I do?
You tried to eat my brain.
Yeah.
His only crime was being mounted on a round base.
But I'm hungry.
Some lovely stuff in here, really characterful.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that Moshartz will come back with more for Shadows over Grimstadt and the whole range in the new year, with even more miniatures and all that kind of stuff as well. Really nice little campaign, very small, very tight bijou. Go and check it out. Late pledges are available, not for too much longer, but go and have a look and see what you think. There's also a nice collaboration with Axia, who we have talked about in the past.
Yes.
For their various miniatures, which again are very Mordheim coded and stuff as well. So if you are interested in the Damned in a variety of different ways, there are options for you here, which is cool. So yeah.
Cloak.
Sweetness.
I like that.
Yes.
That was the Kickstarter exclusive. I'm assuming it won't be part of the late pledge. Maybe it will.
We have to go and check.
Go and ask him. Go pledge and find out, people.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Asking for a friend.
Right. I think that wraps us up for a year.
Yeah.
We'll be back on Sunday.
Yes.
For our gift miss episode. Where we
Yay.
get to open presents, sit beneath the tree, eat too many chocolates first thing in the morning, sick up everywhere, can't eat our dinner. If you want to join us to see
I'm waiting
that,
for the turkey coma.
We'll be over at OnTableTop.com on Sunday for that. If you're not already a cultist, you can join us for a trial. And like I say, we'll be back over the Christmas period with our awards, our Ask Me Anything, some other frittery stuff. Just join us. It's been a long year. We'll see you in 2025. Have a great year of gaming.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.